Welcome to the Austin LGBT Chamber of Commerce podcast. I am Tina Cannon, your host and CEO of the Chamber. On today's podcast, we're going to talk about local business news and headlines this week. The Tourism Commission is looking at how the city can welcome more events. First, Carless community breaks ground and Meta is paying up big bucks. Then we're going to have our special guest. Stay tuned just on the other side. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining and listening in. We got a different kind of show today. Normally, I would say right here, please welcome my staff, Colton and Amy, but we're really lucky. Today, we have a special guest. Todd Hogan's in the house.
Hey! Hello, everybody. Oh, I get applause.
Yeah, your 4 fans.
There's always at least 2 people listening.
Those are stalkers.
Mm-hmm.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me in. This is fun. I'm playing both Colton and Amy.
Oh, wow.
That's
You're
a lot.
going to have to know sport ball and fashion, and you're going to have to know a lot.
Maybe fashion.
Okay.
Yes.
We used to play a trivia game on here, and I would have to deliberately find questions that both could answer. Because if it's anything to do with sports, Colton would look at me like just,
My running joke is anytime somebody tries to talk sports with me, I say, well, did anybody get a hat trick? Because I grew up in Minnesota,
Okay.
so I know hockey, right?
That doesn't play here.
Yeah, I know, but nobody gets it.
No, not in Austin.
For those who don't get it, a hat trick is when somebody that's playing gets 3 goals in one game.
You know, honestly, I
know more
didn't know
about
that.
sports than you do.
Okay, careful.
Yeah, that is.
Have you watched any of the Olympics?
You know what? I've watched Celine Dion at least 20
It
times.
seriously brought me to tears.
Well, I mean, did you watch the whole documentary?
I did, and we had just watched it like a week before.
I mean, jolting, by the way.
Right.
Like, I was not prepared for them to show like the full-on.
I'm glad they did,
I'm
though.
glad they did too. So I watched that. I don't have a TV. I know that surprises a lot of people.
Okay.
About a year and a half ago, I got rid of TV in my life.
Huh.
So I really just watch reels of comedians and Steve Harvey playing The Family Feud. And the Graham Norton show. I've gotten really into the Graham Norton show clips.
I love Graham Norton because anything goes on that show.
And I have been seeing some of the Olympic memes,
Yeah.
like Snoop Dogg's all over the place, cracking everybody up.
All over.
And then I do think that the whole, gay eye candy whole deal. There's the swimmer, I can't remember where he's from, that's got a big package, and then I know, right? And then there was a great meme the other day about, watching drag queens in the opening ceremony isn't going to make your child gay, but watching this swimmer might.
I have not caught much of the Olympics. I don't know if it's a time zone thing or there's TV isn't the way it used to be, right? When I'm gonna age us. When you and I were growing up, there was
all we had to
5
watch.
networks, and you could find it because it would just click, 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 click. Oh, there it is.
Now there are networks that only carry the Olympics.
And I don't even know where those are. It's just beyond. It's too much.
No, and I will tell you, as somebody who's not a huge sports consumer, I do geek out about the Olympics sometimes. So I am kind of missing it because I hear little things here and there, but. It's a busy time of the year for me, too. I can't get stuck in front of the TV going down that rabbit hole.
For sure. We're going to talk a lot about your busy season coming up. You are all things arts. But let's get to some local news and find out what's going on.
See what Todd thinks.
The Tourism Commission is looking at how the city can expand major events. You can find out more at our friends at the Austin Monitor. But they're indicating that the city needs to be more hospitable toward major events and bring in a large number of visitors to the area, suggesting they could focus on opening up the availability for gathering permits in the downtown core. And the issue was really around a couple of years back. The city said, no more. We're not doing any more major outdoor events, no more big permits. They can't shut things down. We're only going to have X number of events at Auditorium Shores or whatever it's called now.
Lady Bird. Oh no,
no,
the
it's like
James Matthews or something. Yeah,
it's Auditorium Shores.
It's still Town Lake.
And it's still Lady Bird. Yeah. But the idea, so the city said, no, we're done. We're not going to have that. You can't do any more things like that. You can have 6 big events a year. And that's it. But the problem that we're looking at is the convention center's fixing to get demolished, and it's going to be closed for I heard this yesterday because I'm on the board over there, and they call it. It's going to be ready in 40 months. We're talking it as if it's an infant. So it's in 40 months. It'll be done.
So I'm going to age us again. Do you remember the movie The Money Pit with Shelley Long and Tom Hanks?
I do.
And do you remember what the famous line is? Well, how long is this going to take?
I don't.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
It'll take 2 weeks.
Like all the contractors, they're rebuilding this mansion from the ground up, basically, and the contractor's always just like 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And it goes on for like months and months and months.
We had a president a while back that kept saying that I'll get that to you in 2 weeks. Maybe that was it was the Money Pit president.
Yes.
But I'm hopeful that the city does take the advice from the Tourism Commission because the convention center, right, the goal of that whole arm is to put heads in beds. And putting heads in beds is the best kind of money that you can have in a city. It is money that drops in. It's typically middle to upper income folks that are coming to town, spending their money, not using tons of our infrastructure, and leaving. That's great money to have. And we tax them while they're here on the hotel occupancy tax.
Well, I'm the arts and entertainment guy.
Right.
And that's where all of my funding comes from.
Yeah.
So it's very important to put, what did you say, butts in beds?
Heads in beds.
Heads
I mean,
in beds.
that's your weekend.
And the butts go there too, I guess.
I do hope that the city does listen. Because, like, I know the big festival that used to be was Pecan Street. Like, you would go, like, oh, I miss Pecan Street weekend. And now, like, I missed it because it's the same vendors over and over. Like, you got to change that up a little bit.
Well, I like Luis, and he mixes it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, it's candles and soap and
Yeah. I wish it was
hangings.
a bit, could be a little bit more zhuzhy for those who've been here a while. You know, Trib Fest is great. It takes over Congress. Like, the hope is that we can bring in some more of those kind of big Trib Fest type things, or not so much another big South by, but something else that puts people in the spaces that are available while the convention center is undergoing construction.
It's a big, I don't think people realize what a big deal the convention center being gone for a little bit is going to be, particularly to the downtown economy. So I agree. I mean, we were talking a little bit before, and there's a piece of me that's like, no more competition. I've got other events. I'm trying to sell tickets. But I get it. I mean, we have to replace that. We have to bring more people in. And to all of my friends in the arts and entertainment world, again, this is where the city's money comes from for these grants that they're putting out, which are millions of dollars.
Yeah, the cultural arts programming, heritage art programming, all comes out of hot tax. The hot tax doesn't mean it's like sexy money. It means it's called hotel occupancy tax.
It's just like a hot toddy doesn't mean me.
It does every time. Every time.
I know.
Austin's first carless community is breaking ground. City officials broke ground Saturday on affordable housing units that will make up the Austin's first carless community, designed with 100% electric needs produced with on-site solar. It's going to be over at 1309 Chacon, or as my GPS calls it, Chicken. It's going to be called the Ivory. It's a mix of commercial space, but the idea is that car ownership is a choice for residents rather than a necessity. There are plans to give each resident an electric bicycle to keep when they close on their condo. And this all happened because of the Affordability Unlocked ordinance that passed back in 2019 that allowed nonprofit developers to build this facility without parking requirements and greater density. Those who listen to the show know, and there's one sitting behind Todd right now, I am a huge electric bike fan now. I'm 50 years old, and I get my tail end on an electric bike, and I love it.
So I'm an events guy. I'm also the movie guy. I'm also the arts guy. Like, you know, I wear a lot of hats, right? And so I love my car.
Yes.
Because I'm constantly hauling stuff around.
It's storage on wheels.
Events. It's storage on wheels for me.
Yeah.
And I know that I'm making lots of movie references today. I didn't mean to do that.
Well, you are the arts guy. It's okay.
I know, but do you remember the movie Singles from back in the 90s?
No.
Well, one of the big issues was this guy was like putting this whole thing together for, you know, to get people out of their cars. And I just remember like he's sitting making his final big pitch in front of like the, you know, the city council or whoever it was he was pitching. And it ends with the city councilman looking at him and saying, people love their cars.
Dude,
and I get it. Like we're, you know, it's an evolving thing. And, you know, there's driverless cars killing people. And well, not killing people.
No, they do. But I mean, cars kill people. Bikes,
but I also think like those driverless cars, like if we all gave up our cars and just did the driverless cars, they're designed to follow all of the rules.
Right.
So it might actually eliminate traffic if we all were in a car that we couldn't speed in and disobey the rules.
And that they zippered in together, like on the highways and roads, and there was no like, you know.
We're humans are the ones that create traffic.
Yeah, because like it's
Not
hard for a
cars.
driverless car to be in the traffic, whereas the rest of us can all in traffic.
Yes, but this whole idea of a carless community is very interesting.
Yeah.
But is our city's infrastructure built up? I mean,
It's on its way.
I agree with you.
Honestly, but it's a good. I mean, we missed the boat 20 years ago.
And most of what I know about our city's infrastructure, I know from the LGBT Chamber's luncheon.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that shameless plug. We appreciate you.
No, I do though. Like you bring in very interesting speakers. Like I remember, the one, and my question was like they're expanding the trains, but it's not going to reach the airport. And I'm like, I'll spend the extra $8 billion.
Yeah, you gonna spot them a little change.
If you're gonna spend that much money anyway, just spend the extra $8 billion. What is that?
I know, and here's hoping. Well, I love the idea of. I'm an urbanist. I like urban density. I think if you choose to live in a city, like the city should also reflect the ability for you to live, work, and play. I would love for even my family to be a one-car family at some point. My wife also has an electric bike. We live luxuriously close to downtown, right? We know our space and place in the society, right? But we're also cognizant of the space that we're taking up on the roads and how much gas we're burning, and so we've really leaned in hard on the electric bikes because, I mean, if I lived on the outskirts of town, it would be harder. But like this is a really cool building option, an apartment option over at the Ivory for especially young people. I really see a lean in a different direction with young people. We've got we live in a townhome, attached townhomes, and our neighbor on the one side is probably young or like early 30s, I'm guessing, maybe late 20s. I mean, her car literally has like leaves around the wheels because she never takes it.
Yeah.
I texted her the other day because her car hadn't moved in a month, and I was like, "Are you dead inside your condo? Am I going to be on an episode of Dateline?" Like, what? But she just doesn't take her car.
She just doesn't use it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm loving that the younger generation's picked up on finding other ways to get around, and they can work remote.
No, and I will say, like, one of my hats is over at KMFA, the classical music station. We've got this beautiful new building over in East Austin, and we have several employees that either bike or use the train or the bus system to get to work every day, and it works fine for them.
Yeah, I love it. I'm happy for. I'm glad to see the city council is loosening some of the purse strings and making things happen. Our friends here at Meta are looking to pay over $1 billion to the state of Texas. The AG announced this last week that Meta has settled for $1.4 billion. Of course, they're the parent company of Facebook and Instagram over the social media platform's effort to collect biometric data, which is a violation of state law. It's the largest settlement ever obtained by the state. For more than a decade, Meta ran facial recognition software on virtually every face contained in the photographs that they uploaded on Facebook. This was great for me because I was super lazy, and I thought it was really cool. I'm like, oh, look at that. It identified like every one of my friends in the picture. And yes, I want to tag them. Done. I thought it was harmless.
I thought they were just trying to optimize my beauty.
They just wanted to share it with the world.
They were just trying to help my dating life, is what I thought.
Meta, in their defense, they did not admit any wrongdoing in the settlement. Spokesperson said that, quote, "We are pleased to resolve this matter and look forward to exploring future opportunities to deepen our business investments in Texas, including potentially developing data centers." Meta, of course, no longer uses the flag feature, but I mean, that's a ChatGPT PR response if I've ever heard.
I know. I mean, like, listen, I am so conflicted by all of this because on the one hand, I rely on it as a tool to, get information out and get buzz going and all of this stuff. And both the face recognition, the AI, the ChatGPT. I mean, I joke now, like, you want to come to the conference room and watch me slap ChatGPT around?
That's it. I'm a big fan of ChatGPT.
And it is really remarkable, isn't it? And especially for...
Angrily remarkable.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say here, especially for people like us who might tend to be long-winded. You just okay. Now say that in 3 sentences.
Right. I have
and it does
a thing in my email. Now this will piss off everybody that gets an email from me. It learns how I write, and now I can respond.
Which, by the way, is part of what I've found makes me successful in my career. Is I have worked for many people with really horrible handwriting over the years, and so I've had to translate stuff for them as their assistant, and so this was earlier in my career. And I just sort of figured out what their tone and writing style was. Yeah. So if I hit a point where I didn't know,
you could just sound like them.
I could just say, I could make something up that I knew they would say that would fit there. And, and I feel like that's what AI is.
You're the original AI.
I am the original
You're
AI.
The TH.
Chat TH. I love it. Let's do it.
I bet, yeah. But
how do we get Meta to pay me $1.4 billion for that technology?
I don't know, but what is the state going to do with that money? Are they going to give it to all of us who had our pictures used?
Is the answer to that.
What's the?
Nope.
Where's that money going? To I don't know, to the lieutenant governor's hair dye in a box? I don't.
Ooh.
Oh, come on!
You told me not to be very political.
It's not political. It's hair.
Okay.
Nothing political about his hair.
Yeah.
He happens to be a politician with bad hair.
Other politicians with bad hair.
Because we've lost ground.
I can think of one in particular.
Remember Good Hair Perry?
Who?
Good Hair Perry? Rick with his luscious locks.
Do you know that when I moved here 23 years ago, I decided I wasn't going to go back to Minnesota for Thanksgiving every year, because it's just I go back for Christmas most years.
Okay.
And so I didn't want to go for a meal and then 3 weeks spend all the money to go back for Christmas.
For a meal.
For a meal.
Nice.
So I decided to start my own Thanksgiving traditions here in Austin. And at the time, my friend, who's a big runner, and she was the race director for the turkey trot.
Fun.
And I was like, well, I don't have anything to do for Thanksgiving. I'm new and I'm not going home. Can I volunteer? Is there something that would really help you? And she said, there is something that you could do that I would not ask many people to do, but I think you're perfect for.
Oh, gosh.
It's to dress up in the turkey costume and be the lead turkey at the turkey trot. So for the first 3 or 4 years that I was here, I was the lead turkey at the turkey trot. And one year I remember Rick Perry was up at the front with me waiting for the
Did he have shorty shorts on?
He did. And I was in I'm in the bird costume. Nobody knows who I am. It doesn't know if I'm a man or a woman. I'm
nice.
Just everybody's wanting to take my picture with them and all this stuff. And so I'm at the front and all the media is in front with cameras. And I just slap Rick Perry on the butt with my wing. It was one of my prouder moments.
Oh, see, now you're going to be Turkey Todd.
Yeah.
You went from hot toddy to turkey toddy.
I don't tell that story to many people.
Well, you
so
just
now
told
it's
it to
just
everybody.
Out. I know.
Oh, my gosh. That's
I'm
brilliant.
not the turkey anymore. So don't.
Is there a photo?
If you know me, don't come up and try to do something to the turkey because.
Don't ruffle your feathers.
Because it's not me anymore.
Is there a photo?
There is a photo. I believe it's on the Lake Austin Boulevard Thundercloud.
Okay.
They have a newspaper clipping from that year.
Back in the day when that's how we did it.
And it was, I was in front of the, but it was right before the race started. And so, I'm like, that's me. I'm in there. I'm in that story.
I love it. I'm here for it, for sure.
But people don't know it. I'm the most famous turkey that people never knew.
Oh, my gosh. We're going to be right back with a more in-depth chat with our special guest and talk all things arts coming up right after this break. Attention pickleball fans. Pix Sports Gear, the brand built by and for serious players, has just launched the all-new women's clothing line. And that's not all. You can score big with massive sales on Pix paddles and accessories happening right now. Don't miss out. Visit www.pixsportsgear today. That's Pix sportsgear.com. Pix Sports Gear, where serious players gear up. Welcome back. If you missed it at the top of the show, we are here with our special guest today, Todd Hogan. Todd, you have so many hats that it is impossible for me to introduce you.
Well, every time I go to a luncheon and you give me 30 seconds to say everything that is going on in my world, it's never enough.
No. So tell the folks who you are.
So,
act like you're dating.
No, my mother actually, well, the last time she was here, we went out to dinner and she's like, well, so I was telling my girlfriends that I was coming to visit you. And they're like, what does he do again? And she's like, I didn't know what to say. So my background is in media. So I spent 30 years in radio and television. And I did about half or a little bit more of that on the marketing and promotion side. So I was the guy that made people wrestle in a vat of Jell-O for concert tickets.
We went from turkey ass slapping to wrestling in Jell-O. I like the show today.
No, and then I spent the other half kind of, as a marketing consultant and selling advertising and really trying to get in and help people, which is really what that job is. It's not just about get somebody to buy your crap and then move on. And so that always opened me up to having to be in touch with what was happening in the pulse of the city and events and entertainment and all of that kind of stuff. Really that all came through my department. So arts and entertainment has always been really my wheelhouse and what I've really enjoyed. And that took me on to doing some event production and promotion. I worked in the Texas Red Dirt music scene for a while with my dear friend Marsha Milam, who started Unplugged at the Grove that ran for 26 years.
I live right by there. It's so sad when I go by.
I know.
Shady. Oh.
But her and I did the Texas Music Series, which used to run on KVET out at Hills Cafe. And we did a lot of business all over the state, promoting country music, which is so funny. It was like me with Kevin Fowler on stage.
Oh, man.
He would dedicate Don't Touch My Willie to me.
I like that.
At every show. And then I was like running around in a golf cart with my Barry Manilow t-shirt concert.
I probably saw you back in the day. It's a good chance.
So, so I've got a lot of event stuff. I care deeply about nonprofits. And so I was able to be the person in the media that was able to help with a lot of, nonprofits and just get their missions and their work out and help promote their galas and such. So I do wear a lot of hats. About a decade ago, I left the corporate media gig and did my own LLC and, have been just dabbling in picking projects. Mm-hmm. And a few years ago, I was in the position where I had some time on my hands and I wanted to do something meaningful to me. And interestingly, I had never really worked in the LGBTQ space before.
I feel you.
I mean, I've worked with it and I've helped promote it and on the other side, but I never actually worked or did something with the LGBTQ community specifically.
I always tell people this is the gayest I've ever been in my life.
Yeah, right? I know.
Yeah.
It's exhausting to be gay. So A-Glyph has always been a big piece of my life because indie queer film was a big part of my coming out process and just really helped me get comfortable in my skin. And it started back in Minnesota. Like the first big gay thing I did went to the Twin Cities Gay and Lesbian Film Festival. And I remember being terrified walking into that theater because I was like, somebody's gonna see me. And then I thought, in hindsight, all these years later, I'm like, well, somebody saw me at the Gay and Lesbian Film Festival.
Yeah, They're gay.
So it was all like, kind of funny when you think about it in hindsight like that. So I decided to join the board of A-Glyph, and then it just quickly sort of engulfed my life.
It really did take over your life.
And
but
so,
I will say, though, you've taken over A-Glyph.
Well, I appreciate that. It's very meaningful to me, and it's been a very interesting time to get into the film industry and the film festival industry, especially indie film with all of this AI stuff and the evolution of streaming platforms and just the availability of content.
Sure.
It used to be that, LGBTQ people couldn't find this kind of media anywhere.
Right.
And now your algorithm on Netflix will just feed you everything.
It's great and it's bad.
It is great, but it's problematic as well on some other fronts because only a small percentage of that indie content gets to any streaming platform.
Sure.
And you really do have to rely on your algorithm to be able to find it. And then there's all kinds of representation issues. These studios are cranking out stuff it's made by straight people and starring straight people.
Right.
It's really not doing anything. It's not. There's an authenticity sort of question mark there. So Aglyph has become a big part of what I do. But then, as I said earlier, I'm also down at KMFA, which is the 57-year-old classical music station, which is, in fact, when you look at the financials, and it's a public media station, so you can.
Yeah.
It is largely supported by the community and has been for 57 years.
It's fabulous.
And this station, had a capital campaign, raised $11 million to build this brand new, beautiful, facility in East Austin. Over in the Hatchery, it's got a beautiful 140-seat performance space that's named after Draylen Mason, who was the young up-and-coming African-American double bassist who was tragically killed in the Austin package bombings. And that has been, in a silver lining kind of way, a true blessing to the station, because it has really opened the station up to be able to do some things that really are making an impact to the BIPOC community and putting instruments in kids' hands that wouldn't normally get them.
Right.
And at a time when, music and music education is not getting the funding at all.
And it's always the one that
not
gets
even
cut.
that they need. It's that it's not at all. They're not
I was
getting it,
a nerdy little kid growing up, no money, lived in welfare housing, all the things. My mother's immigrant. But for having music classes, A, it taught me how to socialize. B, it gave me courage to stand up and do a solo, or to be first chair, to be competitive. But it taught me math skills. Right? It had me understanding how to read and write music. And it gives you a sense of community and appreciation for the arts.
There's so many ancillary benefits to it. And, so it is sad to see the state of education and what we are or are not investing in. So being at KMFA, which really is sort of the arts hub of Austin, like all of the arts partners, advertise their upcoming shows and stuff through KMFA, and we go out of our way because I think that the team there, I really do feel has a commitment, and they feel, and I feel like we have a responsibility to the arts community. And so it's been a real true blessing. And I, public media is so interesting to me because I worked my whole life in commercial radio and TV. And so, going over there, I used to work for pop stations that, you'd hear the same Christina Aguilera or
28 times an hour.
Yes.
Yeah.
And these people, classical music, what I've come to appreciate is sort of like Christmas music. You know how there's like a million versions of Jingle Bells?
Right.
Well, there's a million versions of Bach's Sonata 23, Op 22, verse 6. It always feels like a Bible.
Yeah. 2 Corinthians.
But what happens is like, so they'll play the same actual piece of music, multiple times in a month, but they won't ever play the exact same recording of it.
The same composition.
If somehow, because those on-air talent people, they do curate their show every day, and they sometimes wires get crossed and somebody plays something that somebody else just played.
I want to know who that nerd is who figures that out.
I will tell you, the feedback thread at KMFA is real.
Somebody pushing their glasses up on their face as fast as they can to type an email.
We do it. We hear about it. And that comes to my inbox.
Oh my gosh!
And I think it's hysterical, and I love it. And it's sort of what makes it quirky and fun and weird and challenging.
Yeah,
and all of
no
the
doubt.
things, but
back to the festival. You got some big things happening, big shows happening coming up this weekend and into next week.
In summer, it's exhausting to be gay because we don't celebrate Pride once; we celebrate it twice here in Austin, Texas. And so we're entering into Pride Week. This really starts this weekend. So Aglyph, if you're out at the Little Gay Shop, who's a great partner for the Chamber, they're doing their pop-up, their Pride ATX Marketplace over at Distribution Hall on Saturday. We're going to be out there. We have a sold-out special screening with the Indie Meme Film Festival up at AFS on Sunday at 4:30, which is a great queer film. We'll be there. And then Monday, we actually are an official Austin Pride Week event this year. Aglyph is co-presenting. Yes, we're excited about it. we're co-presenting a free outdoor screening of the movie Chicago. You know, Austin Pride's this year, their theme is cabaret. And,
cute.
while cabaret would have probably been the right choice.
I'm like, yeah.
It's
like a little pricey.
It's like a 50-year-old film, and we wanted to sort of be, we wanted to give something to the young kids as well that they might still remember. And I mean, I say that, and you look back, I think Chicago with Richard Gere and Renee Zellweger and Queen Latifah.
They need,
I think it came
Megan
out like
Thee Stallion is like cabaret nowadays.
I was going to say, like, it feels like that was just out yesterday to me, but it's actually like 20 years old. I know.
It's okay.
So we're doing a free screening. All you got to do is go pull a ticket. It's going to be out at Meanwhile Brewing out towards the airport there. And then we'll be at the festival on the 10th. But today, actually, we are dropping a release with the majority of our feature films, so our feature-length narrative and documentaries. And so we've just got this spectacular lineup of films. The festival's, 20 days away, a little bit less than that. Like, we kick off on the 21st. I can't believe it. So this is a really exciting time. We're really rolling out all of the programming. And this year's festival, I will say, this is my 5th festival with AGLIF, and there are years that feel real heavy to me. Mm-hmm. Like it's a lot of, intense political or just heavy topics that are kind of gloomy. This year is oddly, there's a big variety, and a lot of it is just really sort of stupid and fun.
We need stupid and fun. We need to laugh.
And our opening night film is by a local filmmaker, which I'm ecstatic about.
That's great.
Being able to support local queer artists.
Oh, that's fantastic.
You and I work on Pride and Local Music and all of the things, so that's a big deal for us. His name's Fernando Andres, and he has a writing partner here called Tyler Rue. That's his name. And they had a film a couple years ago called Three-Headed Beast that we played, and it did phenomenally well for the festival. So I was really excited to hear he had a new movie out this year that hit the circuit, and I believe it premiered at Tribeca. It's a big deal.
Amazing.
Fernando and Tyler are great writers. Fernando's a magnificent director. A lot of the film is called Rent Free.
Okay.
And a lot of it is filmed right here in Austin, so it's kind of cool to be able to see our city on the big screen.
Love it.
And it really does sort of address affordability issues. So, it's a real, the characters, 2 main characters, it's like they make a lot of really stupid mistakes, and you still can't help but love them and root for them. But the whole thing is they try to run the scheme where they're going to live rent-free for the rest of the year.
I'm interested. I feel a TV show coming on off of this.
And it is hysterical to see all of the mistakes that they make and how they get kicked out of their friends and families.
Where can people go to find out more information?
They can go to aglif.org, and our big release on features drops today, and so if all the features aren't there, just refresh in a couple hours and you should see a lot more of the festival. We'll have, I think, almost 24 films that are going to be posted, and
incredible.
Then we have our Queer Black Voices program we're going to be announcing our winners for that hopefully in the next week or so, and then we'll follow up with our shorts programs. So everything will be out before the festival. You can get badges right now. There's our early bird badges are extended through Monday, so you can still get a good price on the whole weekend. And as we release stuff, we put stuff on sale, so you can get tickets for opening night right now. But I'll tell you, we're going to sell out. It's been doing phenomenal this year.
Don't have FOMO.
No.
Get your shit together and get your badge. It's been a fantastic festival over the year, and but for your energy and enthusiasm and commitment, I don't know that AGLIF would still be here today.
Oh, well, that's very nice of you to say. I try not to make it about me because it really is a community effort and needs to be supported by the community.
It does. So everybody needs, if you love Todd Hogan, you need to go out there and buy a damn pass.
If I've ever done anything.
Wait, I may have just screwed the whole thing.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh, I love it. Thank you very much for that. Let's take a look at some local chamber events that are headed our way.
Yeah.
The DECA Business Summit is set for August 9th from 11 to 3. There's already about 170 businesses who've signed up to attend to learn more about how they can make their business more prosperous. Be sure to go to our website for more information. The Pride Parade Of course, it's happening August 10th. We are going to be doing a live podcast.
Yeah, I am so excited about this.
I'm so excited.
Do you know this is the first year in forever that I haven't had to be in the parade? Like, my car has literally been in the parade for the last decade.
I can't do it. It's too hot.
So I have finally gotten to a point where I don't, like, I got to be at the festival all day, which is going to, be grueling because it's 140 out or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't have to be. So I told Colton I think I'm going to come down and order a martini and sit and just watch you guys have fun.
So we're going to have a camera down facing the parade route. We'll live cast it from our social media pages. So if you don't get a chance to go or you're already hammered by the time the parade starts, you can watch the floats go by. We'll have our slightly drunken commentary about the floats that are going by. It should be a good time. I'm hoping that we get to repeat. My dream was always been to go to a
parade commentator.
No, to go to the Paramount Theater and sit in one of those balcony seats at the front, dressed in costumes of Statler and Waldorf.
Yeah,
and just sit there.
Well, my colleague at KMFA, Susie, who some people refer to as Joy in a Bottle. She texted me over the weekend and she's like, "What Muppet character am I?"
Of course she would. What was your answer?
Well, I said Fozzie Bear.
Okay. I feel Fozzie. Yeah.
But then she asked me what Muppet her husband is.
Uh-oh. Like it's sketchy.
And I said Statler.
I just love those guys.
And she's like, yeah, that's beautiful. Like, that's exactly spot
on. Of
on.
course, everybody under 30 is like frantically Googling who these people are.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so this is as close as I'm going to get.
These are the two old cranky Muppets that sit up in the balcony and
they comment on the show.
And everything. Yes.
So this is as close as I'm going to get. But I'm not going to criticize. We're going to spread love and joy and gayness all over the parade.
Yes.
For sure. Also coming up on August 12th is the Chamber's Health and Wellness webinar put together by our Health and Wellness Committee. If you are in that industry and in that space and that's part of your economy, join us online on August 12th. Of course, the Arts Mixer that Todd mentions, August 15th. AGLIF runs August 21 through the 25th. September 4th is our next big chamber luncheon. Find out where it is, because I have no idea, online at the AustinLGBTChamber.com. That's why I have a great team. September 24th is Pride in Local Music. We're going all out this year.
Is it the 24th or the 23rd?
It's a ham day.
Yeah, I think that's the 23rd. Now you're going to go look it up and I'm going to be wrong. But
it's on ham day. It's a Tuesday, whatever that is. 23rd. We partnered with Ham Health Alliance for Austin Musicians. Ham Day is an amazing event.
It is.
It's a give back to the community that allows for the musicians to have access to healthcare year-round. I always tell people that art is not a side hustle. It should be your full-time job, and you should have full-time benefits that go with it. So we love to support HAM. We're going to be housed we're at 310 ACL. This is the first time this information is going out on the wire, so to speak. There'll be more information coming out with the lineup and times and who's playing when and where. But big thank you to our partners at ACL, to Austin Subaru, or to City Limits Subaru for sponsoring the event. And a whole host of others.
I'm frantically writing that down for sponsorship opportunities.
Their facility in Buda, freaking amazing. They have an actual full-time stage setup.
And Subaru, not just for lesbians anymore.
Seriously, when I started dating my wife, she drove a Subaru.
Of course she did.
And I was like, oh, holy. I don't camp. And I was like, this camps. I can't do it. I can't date a camping lesbian. Because she had a Subaru.
It was her OGT, her obviously gay trait.
Yeah. Fortunately, though, she just drove it. She bought it to be supportive because they're supportive.
Yeah.
And that's how commerce should work.
And that is how our community works, too.
Yeah. I always tell people, and Subaru's always my example, if you don't think that, if you're looking for a loyal consumer, it's the gay community.
Yes.
Because we know if a brand is going out there and intentionally marketing to us and supporting us, we will crawl over broken glass to support them. Because we know that they're sticking their neck out.
Some of us have loyalty issues when it comes to relationships with people.
Right.
But we support businesses that support us.
I remember the back of every Advocate magazine when I was younger, before we had the internets, it was an ad for Tanqueray.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what the hell Tanqueray was.
No, I remember that ad.
But I would order Tanqueray every time I'd walk into a bar because I'm like, well, they're supporting me. I'll support them.
That explains a few things.
And then the last big event on our calendar coming up is the gala. That's going to be December 7th. I'm
so confused about what I'm supposed to wear this year.
I have not found my outfit. So for those listening, it is called the Queer Frontier. Homo FOMO. Our galas always sell out. Don't mess around. It is about reclaiming patriotism. It's about Americana is inclusive of our community as well. And it really stemmed from just this recent political climate where I feel like when I see somebody draped in an American flag, my first reaction these days is to recoil because I'm assuming that they're going to be a hateful, vile person wearing all of that. And I'm like, why are they co-opting my America? So we're going to reclaim Americana and patriotism.
I love this, and we're going to be celebrating a victory in the White House, and we're going to do all of the things. Jesus. but here's the part that like people keep talking to me about like dressing up like Beyonce in a cowboy hat and stuff.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be like we're going to judge you if you show up in just like jeans and boots.
Yeah,
like you got to gate.
Yeah, it is a gala.
It's a gala, and it's Western-y Americana motif. But like, if you just come basic, like we're gonna roll you. Like, so like, we're telling people.
I blame you for the Pepto-Bismol
you have a pink
suit in my closet right now. I did find somewhere else to wear that.
See, yeah, it's good. And we don't dress up in Austin very much.
No.
And so it's a nice time of year, and we hope that people bring it.
I'm really like I'm out on a limb on this one, and I don't know what's going to happen with my outfit. I felt like I brought my game last year.
You were super cute.
But then everybody kept on giving me pink drinks all night.
And that's a problem?
Well, because I think I may have offended people. There may have been some things that happened as the evening got longer.
That's the after party I'm not in charge of.
No, well, I think playing Barry Manilow in the Copacabana cost me maybe $40 that night.
Oh my gosh, this was going to be quite the event. Very posh, Americana, Western. We're going to be complete with Mechanical Bull.
Oh, I'm super excited. You won't see me on it, but
we will see you on it.
I can actually see you on it. Like,
oh, I don't think so.
I think you're gonna like totally lick that 8 seconds.
Honey, it takes me longer than 8 seconds.
I don't.
And before we get too sideways, as always, thank you for joining us. If you want to learn more about becoming a member of this chamber or any of our chamber events, visit us at AustinLGBTChamber.com. If you want to be a guest or a sponsor, email us at info@AustinLGBTChamber.
Do that too.
You can listen to our show every Friday at noon, wherever you get your podcasts.
Yep, you should do that too.
Be sure to follow us. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, Tina.
Bye.